Hey Playas, how you doing? Welcome back to Playas Guide. This episode of Playas Guide is going to be a little different. It's not necessarily directed towards retro gaming. So recently, I did a video that was a previous stream on Twitch of Toys R Us tour that I did. This video is going to be about a video store that is still open, renting videos today in 2021. If you're in Niagara, Ontario, you should definitely check out That's Entertainment. And this video, I'm going to give a tour of the video store, and I got to interview the manager of the store so I could give you a little bit of insight as to what the store is about and how it's still standing and running today. So as you can see, they have a vapor store in there now. That sign used to be a neon sign. Now it's a big LED sign that they can change around. They also used to have some automatic doors, which I wish they still had during COVID. That'd be nice, but I guess they kept breaking down too many times because I've went there a few times. This used to be a Ticketmaster here. I'm not sure what they're using it for now. I think they're just using it for like trade-ins and stuff. The community board, their top 10 movie picks. When you walk in here, you notice this checkered floor and all the neon lights. It's awesome. This is where you return your movies here, to your left, and then old school movie return drop box. It's great. I love it. And then to your right, you get to see some of the new releases and upcoming movies. It's cool that they still have that, and they added these green LEDs here to the windows. That really makes the place stand out from the street. There's some old PlayStation display cabinets. Hope to get my hands on those one day because they do appear to be original. Some different, cables and stuff for hooking whatever else up. I like that mask he's wearing. You could see they used to have a big TV hanging from there. Now there's just little LEDs. Look a little bit weird, but they used to play like different stuff, movies, MTV, all different things. This used to be the music section. Used to have tons of CDs here. Now it's all used DVDs. And again, lots of TVs all throughout the store, which is something I'm sure you guys remember from back in the day in video stores. It has this original artwork all around the video store and lots of neon lights for each section. There's one area that says cassettes, and it's just funny because cassettes aren't a thing anymore, obviously. So in a little bit you're gonna see that they also used to have an adult section in the back. There's a little corner there with a fridge that used to have ice cream. That's where that used to be. And then around the outside walls of the video store, those are all the new releases or newer rentals that have come out within the past year for you to rent. And then inside their catalog library, including the DVD and Blu-ray. This is what they have for the used game section. You got your Wii U, your Switch. On the other side is PlayStation. There we go. Look, an NES game. Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt. They got one NES game for you. So the other side's all the PlayStation stuff there. You see PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2. I don't think they have any PlayStation 1. That's the CDs there. So they still have CDs for sale, used CDs. But as you can see, it's a small section. Here's the Xbox games for sale. And then just behind here, they have the video game rentals. And then we're going to take a look at the rest of the store and all the rentals. But I'm going to go now to the interview with the manager from the store. When did That's Entertainment open?
September of 1989. When we started out, we had beta, we had LPs, we had cassettes, getting into CDs because they were still new. we had VHS, and then from VHS, obviously, we transferred over to DVD, and from there on to Blu-ray, and from there on to 4K. We kind of avoided Laserdisc there. Um, Not exactly sure why, if we just saw the writing on the wall or just didn't get a good vibe for it, but fortunately, we didn't really put a horse in that one because that one didn't really go anywhere,
Mhm.
or not nearly where they thought it would, or whatever, I guess. We've seen every video game system imaginable, I think. From We started off with obviously 8-bit Nintendo, then we went to Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Then it all kind of exploded where you had Neo Geo, 3DO, PlayStation, and every system that Sega put out, because they put out the Sega CD and the Sega 32X and the Sega Saturn and the Sega Dreamcast, and more systems there, and just kept going on with all the other the more popular systems, the ones that everyone remembers, of course, the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, etc., 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 and all that stuff. Back when CDs were the king, and Columbia House was still going strong, and all the Columbia House and BMG Music Club and all that stuff were still going strong, and everybody wanted CDs because there was no MP3 players or anything back then. Um, the 90s were a huge time for CDs, for music. Now it's iTunes and MP3s and all that stuff, and far less physical copies or whatever. But yeah, we needed more room for CDs because there was a lot of music coming out, and it seemed like everybody could get a record deal back then, and everybody was putting out CDs, and there was albums like some bands had 2 albums a year. There was just that much creativity, I think, just being dumped out there. Our main supplier stopped doing CDs,
Okay.
and they closed down. There used to be a number of different suppliers in Toronto who dealt with Toronto for all our stuff or whatever. There was Records on Wheels, there was Pindoff, there was Music World, there was Entertainment One, there was ETD, there was Astro Home Video, and all that stuff, and they used to all do everything. Slowly they shrunk down and closed up or bought out or whatever. But when our one supplier stopped carrying CDs because they were the main CD store or CD supplier, we got out of CDs then too. The whole video market was unusual back in the day when it was, especially when it was VHS, because pricing of a movie was crazy expensive. Unless a movie was priced for sell-through pricing, like a Disney title usually, they cost like $60 to $80 a piece, and so not every store could get a lot of copies of things. So I think that's how a bunch of stores kind of grew up. We're gonna get 2 copies. Oh, that store will have 2 copies, and this store will have 2 copies. So the city has 20 copies, for example, say,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody had a piece of the pie, and everybody could do it. Um, then pricing switched and got lower, which you'd think would make things easier, but I think the people that had more stock are the ones who survived because they
Yeah.
had more product available. And so the little mom and pop shops started dropping off around then, and I think it was probably right around the time the DVD was starting to come up.
Okay.
Um, then the trick is to have as much product as possible, because then it became the battle of the super video stores, if you want to call it that. Basically, I would say us, Jumbo, and Blockbuster. Then it became, yeah, the battle of who's got the most product, um, and we benefited because we were independent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Blockbuster more so than Jumbo, but Blockbuster definitely could only carry what corporate head office told them to carry. And they would classify the stores as an A store, a B store, a C store, whatever. We always did special orders because your store is finite, but people's wishes are infinite.
Mm-hmm.
People want something, bring it in for them. Why not? But you can't obviously carry everything. Somebody's going to ask for really obscure foreign film. We'll bring it in and sell it, but we're not going to keep it regularly stocked because that's a once in a
Mm-hmm.
lifetime sort of purchase usually. Um, but going back, as we were saying, there how Blockbuster and Jumbo were kind of corporate and they were dictated to what they could carry. Uh, we didn't. We carried whatever we wanted, basically. If we had heard buzz about a movie, we could bring in 20, 30, 40 copies of something or whatever. Whereas they were stuck to whatever they could corporately bring in. Catching on those little niche things, we could excel, and the fact that we could just place an order whenever we wanted on something. Hey, one of the kids tells us, one of the staff tells us that somebody was asking for this. Oh, well, we're doing orders every week. Bring a couple in. Let's see what happens. Just trying to um, change with the times as much as you can. Trying to stay relevant. I mean, we know it's a streaming world and stuff now, but there's not everything is available streaming.
That's right. Yeah.
We with the pandemic especially, the new releases have really dried up. There's not as much stuff going to theaters, obviously, and not as much stuff being released as a quote unquote new release. And the industry really is new release driven. But we've seen a huge upswing in the older titles.
So as you can see here, this is the convenience store. Here's all the flavored popcorn. I pick popcorn up here from here regularly. The convenience side is still up and running well. Um, and then across the street here, there used to be a Blockbuster. Thanks so much for tuning in to Playas Guide, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so and following Playas Guide on Instagram, Twitter, and checking out the retro content that is on Twitch. It's almost every day of the week there's a different streamer offering some new fresh content of the highest quality on Twitch, so give us a follow over there. Playas Guide wants to be your source for retro gaming and collecting. That's it for this episode. Later, Playas.